Cath, and this is my channel made by Cath Craft. Thank you so much for joining me, whether you're new or whether you're a regular viewer. It's very lovely to have you here to talk about all things sewing. And today I've got lots to share in terms of what I've been sewing this week. And also some new fabrics arrived with me this week as well, which is quite exciting. Always lovely to get some happy fabric mail in the post. So yes, lots to share, and I hope you're all doing really well. It's still quite cold and quite gloomy here. Definitely we're still in the depths of winter. But I love how we've all got sewing to get us through. It's such a nice hobby you can do on a cosy evening in the house when it's cold outside. So yes, anyway, I'll start this video off first of all with talking about what I'm wearing for my handmade wardrobe today. I've got a knitted sweater on and a pair of handmade trousers. The sweater I knitted quite a long time ago now, actually. It was one of my earlier makes for myself. And actually, I think it's still one of my favourites. And I made it using a kit from Wool and the Gang that I think I got for Christmas or my birthday. I think it might have been my first Wool and the Gang kit. And I've made a couple more since. But it's this one here. It's their saltwater sweater kit. The picture on the front doesn't really do the jumper justice. But yeah, the jumper is lovely. It's kind of like a drop shoulder jumper with a slight sort of wider sleeve, but not like a big balloon sleeve by any means. And then it's made out this lovely stitch, which I don't know what you call it, but it was so fun to knit. It's got a bit of detail to it, which creates a really lovely texture. And I made mine in this bright pink colour. It's knitted in the Wool and the Gang's cotton yarn. And yeah, it just came together really nicely. I think it's designed to be a little bit more oversized than mine ended up, but I'm a bit of a tight knitter. And actually, I quite like how it's ended up, thankfully. I don't mind it not being as oversized as the pattern intended. But yeah, it's a lovely kit. In terms of sizing, it goes from a bust of 32 inches up to a bust of 54 inches. And yeah, I love Wool and the Gang kits. I would definitely recommend them. They are a bit pricey, so it's always good to get them with a discount code or for a present for a birthday or Christmas or something like that, I guess. So yes, that's what I'm wearing on top. And then I've paired this jumper with a pair of handmade trousers that I sewed up quite recently, so you may well recognise them if you've been watching my channel in recent weeks. And it's my Jali Eleonora trousers, which is this pattern here. It was my first time trying a Jali pattern. So yeah, it's new to me pattern company, new to me pattern. But it's for these trousers that are sort of designed to be, what do they say? They are stretch pull-on jeans with a wide waistband. You can make them full length or cropped. They have a yoke, faux fly in the front, patch pockets in the back, and they're fitted through the waist and hips and then straight from the knee down, and very easy to turn into skinny jeans. And I think I mentioned when I was making them, I haven't tried so many pairs of fitted trousers. I did try jeans a long time ago and I didn't really enjoy sewing them. But I thought this pattern would be quite a nice sort of pattern to dip my toe back in the water of more fitted trouser making, because it's got a little less going on in terms of the construction than a pair of full jeans, but has some of those jeans aspects that I quite like the yoke, which I often find is a quite nice area that you can kind of help fit the back of the jeans, which scenario I often find hard to fit because I've got a bit of a sway back. And I like the fact it had these little faux pockets at the front. I thought that was a nice feature, and also the sort of faux fly. Because they're stretchy, you can just pull them on so you don't need the fly. So yes, anyway, I gave them a go. Oh, this pattern's really cool, by the way, because it comes as a pattern for children and women too. So for girls, it goes in age range 2 to 13. So I thought it's a pattern I could also potentially make for my daughter at some point in the future. And then for ladies, it goes from a US size 4 up to a US size 22, which takes you up to hips of 53 inches. But yes, I think I'd seen it go by as a Guthrie-Ghani kit quite a while ago, and had a look on the Guthrie-Ghani website to see what fabric had come in the kits, because I often find they have great fabric and pattern matches. And the fabric in the kit was like a stretch velvet. And I wasn't totally sure if that's what I wanted, but I also saw on the Guthrie-Ghani website they had some lovely stretch needle cord, and I emailed them. They said it will probably be similar in terms of its sort of stretch and how it sort of felt, so it'll be a good match for the Jali Eleonora. So I sewed my pair up in this lovely stretch needle cord. I'll stand up so you can see the colour. It's called Pacific Blue. I think it's coming up a little bit darker on screen than it actually is in real life. But yeah, I sewed them up. I sewed up the kind of with them a straight leg, the full length. I did make a few adjustments, which I talked about in previous videos, to kind of increase the crotch depth a little bit, to bring them up, because I've got quite a long measurement there, I think, and I wanted to bring them up so they do sort of sit around my waist and hug in there, because I think maybe they'd come a little bit lower otherwise. And I also did spend a bit of time fitting the back to bring it in there, and I think the fit's all right now. I'm quite happy with the fit. But yes, I made them a few weeks ago, and then I haven't really worn them. And I think it's because I wasn't totally sure of how to style them. Firstly, with what to wear as like a top, but also mainly what to wear as shoes with them. Because at the moment here, it's been quite rainy, quite cold, quite muddy. The school run can be a bit muddy, so I often wear my Dr. Martin boots, which are quite sturdy and perfect for, you know, splashing through puddles and that sort of thing. But these jeans are kind of more slim cut, and they're not totally boot cut. So this morning when I tried them on, put my Dr. Martens on, they sort of felt like they didn't quite fit so well over the boots, which I kind of thought might be the case. So I don't know whether I might, if I made another pair, maybe taper them out slightly to make them a little bit more boot cut, to make them more sort of boot friendly for winter. I'll put a picture up so you can see they're just kind of rucking up a little bit at the bottom. It's not a major problem. It just didn't look quite right, I guess. I guess I'm used to wearing skinny jeans where I can kind of tuck them into the boots, so it felt a bit different. So I tried them on with a couple of different pairs of boots once I got back from the school run this morning, see if any of my boots fit them right, and they didn't really, because I mostly have ankle boots, which do sort of are a bit wider around the ankle. So yeah, I think these jeans are a little bit more slim cut for that. But I did try them on with a pair of trainers, and I thought they looked really good with trainers. I'll pop up a picture with trainers too, so you can see. So I think they'll be perfect with trainers when the weather gets a bit warmer and it's more spring weather and it's less muddy and cold out there, so I don't need boots. So I'm hoping I'll get a lot of wear out of these in the spring. But it does make me think I would love to make another pair actually, because they're really comfy to wear. It does make me think if I make another pair, I'll either maybe consider tapering that a little bit more to make them a bit more boot cut, or I might bring them in and turn them into skinny jeans, which it says is quite easy to do. And I definitely think that option was included as one of the Guthrie-Ghani kit options. I do remember maybe in Lauren's video it talked you through how to do it. So I could always buy that, or I could just figure it out myself. But yeah, I'm really enjoying wearing them today. They're so comfy because I've got the elastic waist. And I think they work quite well with a cropped jumper like this one. I think I definitely pair them with a cropped jumper again, or maybe a jumper tucked in at the front. I'll stand back so you can kind of see the fit on me. But yes, you can have a little look. Yeah, I really like them actually. I definitely want to wear them more. But yeah, I just need to figure out if there are any shoes that kind of match them for this weather, or whether I just do sort of save them for when the weather just gets slightly milder and a bit more less muddy. So yeah, I'll link the pattern down below, and also I'll link this fabric. I think it is still in stock. It came in a few different colourways, and it's lovely and velvety feeling. And yeah, I love a bit of texture of needle cord. It's quite a fine needle cord, so it's not super textured. But yeah, I'm glad to have got them on today, because I was quite pleased then when I made them, and it just seemed a shame not to get them out straight away. So anyway, that is what I'm wearing today for my handmade wardrobe. I'll move on now to what I've been sewing this week, and the first thing I wanted to share is I finished a project I was talking about in last week's video, which is a set of 2 packing cubes using a kit I got from New Craft House. They made their own packing cubes pattern, which is this pattern here, to make 2 different size packing cubes. And then you could buy a kit which included the zips and the bias binding for the inside, and some lovely Liberty ripstop fabric, which is perfect because it's lightweight but strong, so perfect packing cubes. And I showed you my smaller one last week, so this is my smaller one with a lovely chunky zip. And now I've finished my bigger one. I thought I'd show you that so you can see the different sizes of them for reference. So here they are, my little one on top and my big one on the bottom. So yeah, the big one's pretty big actually. You can see there, and it's quite deep as well. Hello, you can see how deep it is. It kind of goes from here to here. And they were so much fun to sew. I'd really recommend it if you're fancying a non-dressmaking project where you don't have to worry about fitting. And if you enjoy a bit of top stitching and a bit of applying bias binding, this is definitely one for you. I'll link the kits down below. I think they're still in stock in quite a lot of different pretty Liberty colours. Obviously I took a picture. I sort of stuffed both full with towels, and took a picture so you can see how they look when they're sort of full of something. And I'll put that up there. That gives a better idea, I think, of the scale and size of them. I have some packing cubes that I bought ready to wear. I'm not sure you call it ready to wear if it's a packing cube. But yeah, ones I didn't make that I bought and I have. And I had a look, and actually the size of these were quite similar to the sizes of the ones I bought. So quite handy sizes, I think, not so big. I think if you got too big, there's no point in them because you want to be able to fit quite a few in your suitcase and separate things out. But yeah, I'm really happy with the size of these. And yeah, I guess you could quite easily adapt the pattern. Actually, if you wanted to make a smaller one or a bigger one, it'd be quite easy to scale up and down probably. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And yes, I thought I'd just show you it's all done and dusted. And actually, for the second packing cube, for the first one, I found it a bit tricky to go around the corners and sort of sew it all together. It was a bit fiddly and the rip sort of has no give, so it's quite hard to avoid rucking it at all and making the fabric totally sort of lie flat together all the way around. But for the second one, I sort of tried to curve the corners a little bit more, which a couple of people have recommended, so thank you. And that really helped sort of just to accept that curve rather than trying to get it too sort of square like in the corners. And that did help, and I think I've ended up with a better finish on my second one. So I think if I made more, the finish will get better and better. It's just a bit of a practice and a bit of a fiddly balance in terms of easing those fabrics together when there isn't much ease or much flex to the fabric. So anyway, I was really happy to finish them. And then the next thing that I've been sewing this week and also finished this week is something else for myself, but this time it is actually a garment, and it's a new sweatshirt that I made using also fabric from the new craft house that arrived along with the packing cubes kit. So as well as selling the packing cubes kits, New Craft House recently released some sweatshirt kits, which contain all of the fabric and notions you need to make a sweatshirt. So basically some cotton French terry and ribbing, and also matching thread. The kits don't include the pattern. I guess you can then choose whatever pattern you want to make from your pattern collection or buy a new pattern, but the pattern isn't included. It's just a fabric kit. I'll link the kits down below. There's quite a lot of lovely different colours, a couple with prints on as well. And I got two, and one was this navy colourway that I've sewn up this week. So this is the sweatshirt I've sewn up this week. So it's a bit of a basic, but it's been one I've been wanting to sew for a while. I've got a couple of particular garments in my wardrobe, but when I wear them, I often think that would look nice and work really well with like a simple navy sweatshirt. And I think it'll obviously go really well with just a pair of jeans and other things too. So I think I'm going to get a lot of wear out of this one. And I had in mind the kind of fit I wanted from this sweatshirt. And I thought what I'd do is adapt a pattern I already had to get the fit I wanted. So I started by using this pattern as a base for my new sweatshirt. This is one of my favourite patterns, as you'll probably know if you're a long-time viewer, the Megan Nielsen Jarrah sweater pattern. It sews up so nicely and it has lots of different variations built in. So it's one of those patterns you can make over and over again and each one can look different. And I started off with this basic version here for my jumper. So it's just got a drop shoulder and a round neck and cuffs and a bottom band. And it's designed to have quite an oversized fit. And I always make the size 0 based on my bust measurement. I mentioned before my hips and waist are slightly larger, but it is quite roomy, this jumper, so I've never bothered grading out, and it still is quite oversized. It's got a good size range too. I've got the 0 to 20 pattern. There's also, I think, a 14 to 32 curve version of the Jarrah too. So yes, I started off with the basic Jarrah sweatshirt and in size 0, but I traced off a new set of pattern pieces because I wanted to have a bit of fun playing around with it to create just what I wanted for my new sweatshirt. I do love that about taking an existing pattern and just altering it to make it look a bit different. It's, you know, when you go shopping and ready to wear, sometimes you try something on and think, oh, I'd like it if only this was different and if only that were different. And I love how with patterns you can just make that happen yourself. So yeah, what I decided to do was I wanted a slightly more slim fit sweatshirt rather than a kind of oversized sweatshirt. I thought that would work really well for like tucking into skirts and that sort of thing, and not looking too bulky or feeling too bulky when you kind of tuck it in around the waist and it gathers there. So I traced off the size 0 and then I took it in by a couple of centimetres down the side to bring it in a bit more narrow, which I don't think I've done with the Jarrah before. I then also changed the neckline because I find the one thing about the Jarrah neckline that I'm not so sure about is it's quite a wide neckline when you make the sort of round neck version. So if you wear a top underneath, sometimes it can show because it does sit quite wide. So I borrowed the neckline from from the Closet Core Mile End sweatshirt, which has a bit more of a snug neckline. And I just kind of traced that over the top, and I think it basically brought the neckline in by a couple of centimetres each side. So yeah, I added that on, so it became a little bit of a mash then. And then what I decided to do is, because I thought I'm just going to want to tuck this one in often rather than wear it loose, I thought I wouldn't bother with the hemband at the bottom because that just adds bulk there. So I thought I'd just lengthen the main body pattern piece and just hem using like a simple turn up hem, just to make it easier to tuck in. So it's a bit less sweatshirty at the bottom there, almost like a combination of a sweatshirt and a top. So you can see the hem here. It's just a plain hem, and I hemmed it with a Maraflex thread, just so I get a nice straight hem rather than a zigzag or a twin needle. I had some navy Maraflex left over just a little bit, so I thought it'd be good to use up on this hem. So yeah, those are the main changes I made, I think. I'd always lengthen the sleeve on the Jarrah to make it nice and long and cosy. And yeah, it came together really nicely. And actually, when I sewed it up, it still felt a little bit oversized, even having taken those 2 centimetres off the sides of the main body pattern pieces. And I ended up taking a couple more centimetres off each side again. So it is quite a lot slimmer than the Jarrah is designed to be, but still not tight by any means. It just feels a little bit more, yeah, it just feels like a slightly different style, I guess. That's what I wanted from this sweatshirt. So I'll put a picture up so you can see what it looks like on. I've just got it paired with some jeans here, but I tried it on with a skirt too, and it worked well again. And I like the fact there wasn't too much bulk, so it did sit quite nicely all tucked in the skirt. But yeah, I said it is quite a basic, but I did quite enjoy spending that time altering the pattern pieces, and I'm glad I did. I do prefer that snugger neckline, and the Jarrah's sleeves are quite sort of slim anyway. They're not kind of an oversized sleeve, so I think the Jarrah does work quite well having the actual main body brought in as well. I think it does suit it. I think it might look weird maybe if it had like a balloon sleeve and then a slimmer body. I don't know. I guess maybe it wouldn't be my style at least, but I thought it worked well, and it was just fun having a play around with it, and I like altering pattern pieces. I do enjoy that. So yes, and the fabric's really nice and snuggly and cozy. Yeah, it's really nice French terry, really nice ribbing. And yeah, so that is my other make this week. Just nice to have that in my wardrobe ready to pair with things, because it has been something I've been thinking would be quite nice to have. And it'll be interesting to see how I get on with the non-hemband bottom, because I haven't done that before in a sweatshirt so much. So yeah, I'm glad to have made that one. So yes, now I've got one colourway left from the sweatshirt kits that I got from New Craft House, and it's this colour here, this gorgeous bright pink colour, which I think was called Guava on the New Craft House website. And this colourway I think sold out quite quickly, so it's not available anymore, which is a shame, but quite understandable I think, because it's such a lovely vibrant bright pink colour. So I've got this fabric pre-washed, but at the moment I'm not sure which sweatshirt pattern I'd like to sew up in this fabric, so I need to have a bit of a think on it. It feels a bit more of a precious fabric than the navy, just because I think it'll be hard to get this exact colour again, and I really love this colour. Whereas I thought with the navy fabric, if I have a play around with the Jarrah pattern and it somehow doesn't go to plan, it's always going to be quite easy to get some more navy French terry fabric. But yeah, this fabric might not be so easy to get with matching ribbing especially. So I need to have a think on it, but I definitely like to make a different pattern. I don't want to make another Jarrah. I like to make this one so it looks a bit different to the navy version, but yes, just need to decide what to do. But I'd like to sew it up sooner rather than later, because I think it's a lovely colour for spring. I can see myself wearing this a lot as a kind of lightweight sweatshirt in spring. And actually I think it would go quite well maybe with my Charlie Eleanor trousers I'm wearing today. I think this hot pink might go quite nice with the dusky blue. So yeah, I definitely like to get this one sewn up, just need to decide on a pattern and whether I use a pattern for my sort of pattern collection or whether I try something new. Yeah, need to decide on that one. And I thought I'd mention, while I'm on the subject of those sweatshirts, I thought I'd also mention the pattern tracing paper that I like to use when I am playing about with pattern pieces. I do always like to trace patterns when I've got a paper pattern. I've never ever cut into a paper pattern sheet that I've got. So I've got quite a fat sort of envelope actually, because there's quite a few different variations of the Jarrah that I've traced out and popped in this envelope. And this is the tracing paper I like to use. It is Burda tissue paper. I got this from Amazon, and I have got an Amazon favourites list actually, which I link down below. And it just includes all of my sort of favourite sewing tools and things like this. So this will be on the list if you fancy having a look and seeing what else I like to use when I'm sewing. But yeah, I really like this paper. I find it sturdy enough for me to be able to sort of play around with it and use it quite a few times before it sort of before it takes too much wear and tear. And also it's quite nice and see-through, so it's quite easy to trace with it as well. So yeah, I really like that. I've used it pretty much since I started sewing. I think I just randomly bought it thinking I'll give it a try, and I've always liked it, so I've stuck with it. I have used Swedish tracing paper as well. I've got a big roll of that, but I quite prefer how you can kind of fold this one up. I find it a bit more easy to store in my house. The Swedish tracing paper roll is a bit of a hard one to find a place to put it in my house. So yeah, this works better for me, it's a bit more compact. But yeah, I'll link my Amazon favourites list down below, because I do love a play with patterns. I had to get this new pack, actually, this one's unopened, because I used up the last of my pack tracing out all those pieces for my new navy Jarrah. But yeah, I'd mention that. And then the next thing that I wanted to share with you is the new fabric that arrived with me this week. So this week I received a lovely parcel in the post from Guthrie-Ghani, and it contained one new fabric and also a kit from the latest G&G Sewing Society kit release. So I talk about the kit first, I think, and this is the second G&G Sewing Society kit that I've purchased. The last one I purchased was a couple of years ago, and it was the Luskin tire bag kit, which I so enjoyed sewing up. I love getting the kit with all the bits in. It was just such an enjoyable process. So I was quite excited to receive this kit this week. I do love receiving the emails every month when the kits are released. I love having a look and seeing what Lauren and her team have put together. And yeah, this month's kit, I just thought that is something I could really use in my wardrobe, so I snapped it up. So here is my little kit here in this lovely cardboard box. I'll get all the bits out to show you it, but I'll talk about the pattern first. And I got the cardigan kit, which is a pattern by Jarly. So it'll be my second Jarly pattern after the Eleonora trousers. And I'll put a picture up so you can see what the cardigan is designed to look like, because I think in this box, which I have already opened and had a look at, it just contains the A0 files rather than the actual pattern itself, I think. But yes, anyway, so this is the cardigan by Jarly. So it's designed to be like a relaxed fit cardigan with a raglan sleeve and a V-neck, and you can make it either a longer length with a looser fit or a more cropped version that tapers in a little bit. And it's got a wide band at the front, which you can add buttons to. So yeah, I just thought it'd be a really great layering piece for my wardrobe, and something I don't have already, like a lighter coloured cardigan, because this kit came in 3 colourways. I'll pop a picture up. It came in a mushroom colourway and a light blue and a sort of light dusky pink colour. And the fabric I thought sounded really nice was a viscose blend rib knit, which is 50% viscose, 28% polyester and 22% polyamide, which I think is a sort of similar composition to the faux Angora cable knit sweater that I was wearing last week and that I've talked about recently, which is so lovely and soft and snuggly. So I thought this fabric would definitely be soft and snuggly too, or I hoped it would at least. And then I'll link the kit down below. It comes in either a size 4 to 24 or 20 to 36. I think they must be US sizes. I think the colourway I've got, it might be sold out in both size ranges at the moment, but I think the other colourways are available. So I'll open the kit up and show you the colour I got. So yeah, got a few other bits in here, some interfacing and things, and here is the colourway I got, which is the mushroom colour. I really loved all 3 colourways, but I thought this was such a great neutral colour. And I love wearing a bit of black and navy, and I thought it would go so well with those colours as like a kind of overlayer cardigan I could pop on in the weather we have at the moment, this kind of cold weather. I love wearing my like Freya tops especially, but sometimes on their own they're not quite cosy enough for winter weather, so it'd be nice to have this as a layering piece to put on top, and a bit of a nice alternative to like a dark coloured cardigan, I thought. So yes, it is so lovely and soft and snuggly, this fabric. I can see it will make a really nice cosy cardigan. You can see it's quite sort of substantial. It does feel a little bit heavy, and yeah, it's a lovely colour. It's got some sort of flex to it. It's really pretty. It's really stretchy too, so yeah, it'd be perfect for a nice cosy cardigan. So I've got the fabric, I've got the interfacing, I've got the A0 pattern files here, yeah, which I'll probably be tracing since I won't be able to print them out again. I don't know whether you get actually an email of the A0 copy files too. I'm not sure. I'll have to check, but anyway, that's that. And then in this little bag here, you get some needles, these Schmetz jersey needles, which would be perfect. Can always do with more of those. And then the thread to match. It's a Maraflex thread, so that'll be nice. And then the buttons, which are lovely. These are buttons here. See, they're all sparkly, they're really cute, and I think they'll go really nice with this fabric. As you can see, that goes so nicely. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to sewing this kit up. I'm really looking forward to having a watch of Lauren's video as well. It has some useful things in the video, including how to use Stretch Fix, which I've never used before, which I think is helpful to kind of stop jersey hems like turning a bit wiggly and stretching out. So I'm really looking forward to finding out how to use it because I've never tried it before. And I know with the G&G kits, they do try and add some extra skills in, so you learn something you can then take on to other projects. So yeah, I think there are other couple of variations they're including as well, like you can alter the cardigan to add cuffs if you want and that sort of thing. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to giving that a try, and I'll let you know how I get on with my second Charlie pattern. But yeah, such snuggly fabric, and yeah, I'll link the kits below. So that was the first thing that arrived in my Guthrie-Ghani order, and the second thing was some fabric that I saw Lauren talking about in a new fabric arrivals video quite recently, and I thought it looked a little bit different, and I do like trying to sew with different fabrics. And it's this gorgeous knitted fabric here, so I'll hold up closer so you can see the lovely knitted texture it has. I really love the look of this fabric when Lauren showed it in her video. And it's lovely and soft and cozy feeling too. I'm definitely still very much in the zone of sewing for my winter wardrobe and making everything that's snuggly and cozy at the moment. So yeah, I thought this fabric was really interesting to try. It is a fabric by Fibre Mood, and I've never tried a fabric by Fibre Mood before, but it is called their Soft Pistachio Cotton Modal Knit Fabric. I had a look on the Guthrie-Ghani website, but I couldn't see any composition information for the fabric. I don't think it was there, but I might have missed it. But I did see that it's very stretchy. It has 100% stretch two ways. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to trying to sew it up. I love the colour. I think it's such a pretty soft green. I like that it's kind of a cool green too, and I think it'll go really well with lots of things and be a little bit of a basic in a way, or just go with lots of things, but sort of add little extra something because of the lovely knitted texture to it. It's quite cute actually. The little edges, the selvage has this sort of fluffy edge. I guess all the knitted pieces come off it. So I think this fabric is definitely a knit fabric that I'll probably want to overlock the edges of because it's such a loose knit compared to like the French Terry, which I didn't bother when I made my navy jumper overlocking the edges because it just wasn't sort of shredding or looking like it would do anything, so I didn't need to. But this is definitely a bit of a looser weave. So yeah, it'll be a lot of fun to try sewing it up, I think. And I'm hoping it'll create like a really lovely garment at the end. It's got a bit of drape to it too, so I think it'll make a really nice sweatshirt of some sort, which is what I'd like to make with it. I've got 1.5 meters of this fabric. The one thing I'm not sure about is how to pre-wash it, or not so much how to pre-wash it, but how to dry it afterwards, because I know with knitted garments, you know, if you kind of hang on something, it can sometimes stretch out of shape, and it does say ideally to lie dry flat. I'm never sure how to do that, particularly at this time of year. So if anyone has any ideas of a good way to dry quite a large piece of knitted fabric that has got this looser weave and might kind of stretch, or yeah, I'd love to hear any sort of ideas of how the best way to dry it might be, because I'd love to make sure I keep it as nice and intact and make it as easy for myself as possible then to sew it up and create a nice garment that hasn't stretched already before I even sew it. So yeah, let me know. But yeah, I thought it was really pretty, and I haven't got anything really of this colour in my wardrobe, but it's a colour I really love, this soft green. So yeah, I'm not sure what pattern I'm going to sew up at the moment. I need to have a little think about it, but hopefully I'll decide sooner rather than later, so yeah, I can get somewhere else of it this winter before the weather does warm up. But yes, I've got some matching thread too, so I'm kind of ready to go once I decide on a pattern for that one. So those are my two purchases from Guthrie-Ghani, both quite snuggly and both fabrics I think I really enjoy wearing. And I'll link that fabric down below. When I last checked, it was still in stock. So yes, that was my parcel from Guthrie-Ghani. And then the next thing I wanted to mention was to say a very big thank you to everyone who commented on my video last week. So in last week's video, if you didn't see it, I was sharing a new make, which was the Tom jacket by Sewing Machina, which I really enjoyed sewing up. I will link that video up above in case you haven't seen it and you want to have a look at my Tom jackets and everything else I was sewing last week. There was quite a mix in last week's video, if I recall. But anyway, I wasn't sure about the hem of the Tom jacket, and I was asking opinions whether to keep it as it was or maybe make some changes. And yes, thank you so much to everyone who took the time to comment. It was really helpful to have a read through and kind of get my thought process going on what I could do to change it, or whether I should give it a try. I think for the moment, I'm going to just try wearing it out as it is, see how I feel before I definitely make any tweaks. But people gave really helpful ideas of what I could do to change it a little bit too. So it's really, really useful. And yes, thank you very much to everyone who did comment on my Tom jackets. Do really appreciate it. And to everyone who comments on my videos generally, it's really nice to hear from you. So thank you very much. But yes, that was the last thing that I wanted to just mention before I go. Thank you also for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please do give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, I'd really love it if you would subscribe. But anyway, I'll finish off here now. I hope you have a lovely week, and I'll look forward to seeing you for another video again soon. But in the meantime, I will say goodbye. So yes, goodbye.